everyone, good morning. I think today is Friday, May 23rd. If you're new to my channel, my name is Colleen. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I come to you from Kalama, Washington. So today we're apparently I can't speak this morning. Today we are going to make this really cute card. We're going to case the catalog. I'm going to put my own little twist on it using the Notes Totes Bundle from the annual catalog and some fun designer series paper. So thank you so much for joining me. If you are here, please give a hello and let me know, because it's always so much fun. And I really have a terrible schedule. I know some people come on the same time every week, and that is not me. I want it to be me. It's just not. Anyway, let's start with, let me show you the Thoughtful Journey designer series paper. That's the one I chose to use for the background, and it looks to me the one they used in the catalog. So here are some of these fabulous patterns. And you know, the front and back of the designer series paper is usually equally as beautiful. I'm going to try and get through this video without sneezing. Oh, hi Joan, thanks for popping in today. Going to try and get through this video without sneezing like I did last week. It's allergy season here in Southwest Washington. And let me tell you, it has been a humdinger of an allergy season. So I did a lot of pre-cutting this time around. Normally we do everything start to finish together, but I have to tell you, this is not my normal style. This is a little bit of a fussier card, so you can see I have all these parts and pieces pre-done. This is the Notes Totes stamp set. Let me show you some of the dies that I didn't use, and then we will start crafting together. So look at these. We have water bottles, pockets. This makes an adorable note. This die makes a small note. In fact, I might have one behind me. I do. Last week, I made these really cute purses, or totes. And this is what that die makes. So how cute is that? And then I loved the colors in this one. So I'm going to go ahead and recreate this in card form. Now, like I said, I normally have a bunch of samples, but I don't this time because I didn't like the card I made yesterday. So let's start with a crumb cake base. And this measures 4 1/4 inch by 11 inches, and it's scored at 5 1/2. So we're just going to fold that. So you can see there's kind of the valley and mountain. We're going to fold in towards the mountain. Let me grab my bone folder. And I always say, if you don't have a bone folder, it's perfectly fine. Use the edge of your block. It'll work just the same. So go ahead and use that. I love this set too, Joan. It is so much fun. And here is the background piece. And so this one I cut, this is 4 1/4, and I cut it just a hair smaller. And this part here, when we go lengthwise, it's 5 1/2 inches. And again, just went a hair smaller because I wanted to take up most of the space on the front of our card, but I didn't want it to go over. So just the tiniest hair. And we're going to start with stamping, and I'm using the old Stamparatus. I love a stamp positioning tool when I'm trying to get my sentiment in place and not have it on an angle, and that is not my strong strength. If you followed me for any length of time, you know I always want to tip it up or down. So I like a stamp positioning tool. Stampin' Up does not sell them right now. And I made a tick mark here on my paper so I know where to put it. But there's lots you can find either online or in your local craft store. I'm not familiar with any other ones, so I could not recommend one. And I like mine a little off center, so I'm not centering my sentiment. I like it a little bit off to the side. And I decided I wanted to coordinate this with, let me see, the Secret C. stamp set. And pretty much just because I haven't used this color yet. And I thought, well, I could go basic black or I could do a berry color, which I normally do. But I haven't used Secret Sea yet. And I thought, well, why not? We're here just playing around in my craft room together. And you all know I love to experiment for some reason when I'm doing a live video. So you're hearing the baby wipes in the background because if I don't wipe that off, I know I'm going to get it on my designer series paper. So, and I don't want to do that. I'm just going to give this a little press. Oh, that's pretty. And nice and even, which is kind of a change for me. So let me move that out of the way. And let's go ahead and start putting our card together. So since I have a lot of fussy cut pieces here, die cuts, I think what I want to do is go ahead and take this piece here and adhere it to the front of my cardstock now. You know, and I forgot to get the piece to finish this up on the inside. Well, I'll finish it up when we're done. Anyway, let's go ahead and grab the glue. And I'm going to use the multi-purpose glue just because I want to make sure my borders are even. But if you're a fan of Stampin' Seal and you prefer that, it will work just as well. I like this liquid glue sometimes because it gives me a little bit more play. And the key is not to put too much. It holds really well and it won't really wrinkle your paper if you have a light hand. So we just kind of want to go around, make sure we're even on the edges. And trust me when I say nobody you're mailing this card to is going to pay that much attention. And then we're just going to pop it down here, make sure we get that nice and adhered. And we're done. Oops, sorry. Sorry about that. Now let's go ahead. I need my picture. Where's my catalog? I need the catalog so I can follow along with my picture here of what I want to do next. How about if, this is how I craft, guys, this is honestly it. How about if we start with the fence? I think that looks good. We've done our stamping, so we know we like where that is. Let's start with the fence. And I always say, if you are unsure where to start on your crafting journey, go ahead and start with the catalog, case the catalog. And did you know that there's layouts in the catalog too? So if you're struggling with card layouts and you kind of maybe want your own design, but you're not really sure, look to your catalog. There's a whole section on how to lay out card designs. So I know that I want to use this, and I'll show you the die here in a second as soon as I get these more or less laid out. Okay, so the die I used for that is this one. And you need to cut 2 of these in basic white. So let's go ahead and get this adhered. Now for this, I did find the liquid glue was maybe a little bit fussier. So I grabbed my silicone mat because, you know, things don't really stick to that, and my seal. And I just kind of went down. And don't go all the way to the top yet on this. And then let's just pop this down. So like I said, it's a bit of a fussier card for me. And the reason I put my sentiment down was because first was to make sure that my fence was in the right place. Okay. So, and I'm not really pressing these down very hard at this point in time in case I need to move anything around. And you can see my seal went a little bit over. I'm just taking my finger and folding it back. It's fine. But just in case I need to relocate something, I'm not pressing it down until I'm really happy where it is. Because, you know, whoops. Once it's really pressed down, it's hard to get up without tearing the paper. So this will work well for me here. Oh, let's fold these down. And it's clear, so nobody's really going to notice. I'm noticing more so because I'm looking at it through the lights. So tell me, how is your May going? We're almost done with the month of May, which means that that great starter kit special from Stampin' Up will be ending in the next week. So if it's something you're considering, now's the time that you should treat yourself, because it is really a good deal right now. And I've talked about it in all my other videos. So if you've followed me or watched any of my other videos, you've heard all about it. Let's put this one down. Perfect. It's like I said, a little bit of a fussier card for me. I'm usually just pretty easy and low key. Occasionally I do a fun fold. But I really, really like this beach scene here. I think it's fun. It does come with a stamp if you wanted to maybe use some crumb cake down here. It comes with a stamp you can use. Let me show you. So if you wanted to add a little bit more, there's this, and you could use crumb cake right out the base if you wanted to give it more of a rocky, sandy feel. I tend to like my cards kind of simple. All right, so I like how these are laid out, so I'm actually going to press them down. I'm not pressing this one down too much at the top yet, because that's the one I think I'm going to adhere my bag to. Or my tote, I keep saying it wrong. Okay, so there we go. Let's put these crossbars on. What are those called? Fence posts going the other direction. If my husband was here, he could tell you right away. But let's just say I'm not the handiest person outside. So, and then just a very light touch. A little bit of liquid glue goes a long way. And it does dry clear, so if perchance, you get too much on there, don't worry a whole lot about it. I'm going to use these tweezers that I have. This comes in the embossing kit. And I'm looking at where they're placing theirs. And I am just going to look again, just referencing that picture. And I'm going to pop this right down there. It is going to hang over a bit, and we'll snip that off here. Let's go ahead and do this again. So if you're watching, I love to hear what you think about my projects. So let me know. Let's go ahead and pop this one down here. Right now there's so many great stamp sets and scrapbooking supplies and everything else out. It's hard for me to decide what I actually want to play around with in my craft room. So how cute is that? Let's turn this over. And I actually have a pair of scissors that I use for things that have adhesive on it, so I don't really use my good snips when I do this. There we go. So ta-da, there's our first part. So that's pretty easy. Let's work on the tote next. So I'm again following the picture. And I want to cut a few pieces off of this. So I am going to grab my scissor, and this part right here, the tab that puts the tote together, and look at this paper I'm using. I'll have to show you that. I didn't show you the designer series paper I'm using, and I absolutely love it. But let's finish this part first, and then I will do that. And this part we just want to fold back, right? And this part up here. So what I'm going to do is since I know that I'm just, let's see if I can get it to hold with the seal. I can. Since I am adhering this to the fence post, I'm not too worried about the adhesive on the back because I'm going to be adhering this back there. Oh, you know what? Let's go a little bit closer to the edge. There we go. And let's give that a good solid press. Grab my bone folder. And again, I'm not worried about the adhesive because I'm using the silicone mat. Okay, so now that I have this piece done, I do want to let you know what designer series paper I'm using. I am using the celebratory Sips, and I'm going to grab out just a few sheets here to show you because it has been one of my favorites. And then we'll go back to making this card. kind of all over the board today. Anyway, look at this. And there's the back side. And look at these cups and drinks. How fun. The bright colors, I just absolutely love. And you do have more subtle colors on the back, on some of the pages. But how fun is this? And it's very versatile, right? Like I'm using it for this project. So yeah, I just really love, love, love this paper. I love it so much, I actually ordered more than one pack of it. Okay, so here's our tote. We're going to let that sit here because we're not done. Let's get the sides of the bag and the base. And I'm using strawberry slush, and I used our adhesive sheets for the back of this. And let me show you. So this is the die that I used for the tote, this one here, and this is for the strips of paper here. And I have to tell you, I absolutely love our adhesive sheets for this project. Just go ahead and get it started. Because these strips are so narrow, so I'm going to just follow the line here and bring it down. So I'm gonna just, there's the score mark there. And let's bring this down. So these totes are so much fun. And like I said, I made a lot of treat holders last week using them. Because once I started, I had a hard time stopping. And let's get the base of the bag on. And I'm trying to use as many in colors as I can, just because I haven't had the opportunity to play around with them much. And I think this strawberry slush is just adorable. Just follow your lines there. How cute is that? Here is the handle for the bag. Right here, again, strawberry slush. And let me show you the die for that. And there's that. So when I made the totes, I actually cut out 4 because I reinforced the handle because I was using them as gift bags. But for this, I just used the 1. And let me go ahead and grab our glue dots here. Glue dots are my favorite sometimes for these smaller pieces. And let's go ahead and pop this down right there. So how cute is that? Now, all I want to do now is take this, and where I had this open is where we're going to hang down the bag. So can you see how this is coming together? Isn't this just fun? Just so much fun. So I want to make sure I have it angled, but not too much. And I do have a tag here that I cut in peach pie. And that die is also included. And I want to do a little stamping. And I'm going to use the peach pie too, with the sun that comes in the stamp set. So like I said, a little bit of a busier card for me, but I love, love, love the bright colors. So tell me, are you more of a subtle color person, or are you also liking the bright colors? And then I'm just going to bring this over and put our sun on. How cute is that? And then when we attach it to the fence post, we'll add a little bit of twine. So not a whole lot of stamping in this card, but some. All right, so let's go ahead and get this part adhered. First I want the shell though. I think I want the shell down like that. And then I have a starfish. So Calypso Coral, I think. No, don't quote me on that. Don't quote me. Let me look and see what color that is. That is actually Timid Tiger. And then I have a starfish we're going to put over here with the peach pie, because I'm coordinating colors again. One of my favorite things about Stampin' Up is the color coordination. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I am going to just pick this up and put my glue on the base of my bag, leaving just that corner piece a little bit so I can slip that shell under, and very carefully place it under that fence post, trying not to get glue everywhere. Angle it the direction I want it to go. And I think that looks good. Bring it down a little bit more to the bottom of that fence post. Okay, fingers crossed. And there we go. How cute is that? Nice and bright card. Nice and bright, and that's what I like. And for this, I'm going to use the glue dots. You can see. Now what you can do is, if you wanted, you could use a sponge dauber and you could add more color to this if you like. I actually just like these lines in definition here. I don't know if you can see. I like how it is now, so I'm not going to fuss around with it. But if you wanted to add a little bit more color to it, you sure could. And I'm going to place a glue dot here in the center. Make sure you hold on to it so it doesn't tear. And then one down here. I'm going to try not to stick myself to it. And that should do it for glue dots for this. And let's pop this right down there. All right, can you see how pretty this is coming together? I just really like it. And here's a starfish. And both of those dies are, again, everything I'm using is included other than the designer series paper is included in this bundle. And just another glue dot. And then let's just pop that here at the base of the bag. How cute is that? And kind of gives a little 3-dimension look. How cute. All right, let's go ahead and get the sunglasses on. So again, I used my designer series paper, and for this, I used the Secret Sea, which we coordinated with the sentiment and the cloud cover, because I thought we needed some blue in here. And I did use the adhesive strips here, and I'm going to try and very gently pull this apart. And let's see if I can line this up. Okay, hopefully I don't get my hair in the way. Okay, this needs to move over a little bit here. Let's see. There we go. That's good enough. So cute. And then I want to hang this from the top of the bag like that. I think like that, yeah. Or do I want to do it on this side to kind of balance things out? I think I want to do it over here. Okay, let's go ahead and glue that in place. You could use glue dots, you could use whatever you like. I'm just going to put a dot of the adhesive glue right here, and then let's pop this down like that. And then we made this very cute tag. Let's get that on some twine. Use whatever twine you have. I do not think you can go wrong with whatever you have. I had the one I wanted to use out here on my desk, but you all know how that goes, right? It is somewhere around here. So I'm going to grab a different one. I had one that matched a little bit better maybe. It's somewhere here. But I think any of these will work. So let's go ahead. This one's nice. Let's use this one. That one will be fine. It's my motto when I craft. It'll be fine. And let's just pop this through. See where we want it. See, and then we can make a little tag that hangs off the beach bag. Let's go ahead and cut this. So far it is a beautiful Friday morning here. Just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, let's go ahead, pop this through. So I'm casing the catalog, but adding my own twist. I'm not going to add the water bottles. And I think that's the fun part when you, so in case you're new to stamping, casing means copy and share everything. That's kind of the acronym for it. And, all right, let's just tie this off. So I think the nice thing is to take a design that you like in the catalog or that you've seen online and then make it your own. I think it'd be cute if you had somebody's name you could add there. Let's see, is that going to be too long? Maybe. I kind of wanted it to hang loose. Yeah, it's going to be too long. Let's tie that off again. Sometimes I am all thumbs. There we go. That's much better. That's where kind of I wanted it to lay. All right, let's give that a snip. You could add, let me see if I have anything else over here in my pile. I think this does it for this card. I did forget to grab the part to finish the inside, but I did grab an envelope and a piece of paper because I need to get back to finishing coordinating envelopes. I'm just going to pop a glue dot there. So what do you think so far? Isn't this just the cutest with these bright colors? I absolutely love it. So now for the envelope. This piece measures, same coordinating cardstock. It measures 2.5 inches by 6 inches. And I say we all get back to decorating our envelopes. I have been horrible about that, just terrible. So all I did was adhere some glue there, and I'm going to put this down, give it a press. And then we're going to stamp a sentiment or some flowers or something down there at the base of our envelope. So once this is in place, let's grab the paper snips and go around the edge. So even if you don't like to fussy cut, and I'm raising my hand here in the background because it is one of my least favorite things to do, this is pretty easy, right? You're just following the lines of an envelope. So even for those of us that really dislike fussy cutting, because I will almost do anything to avoid that. You know, this is not bad. And it just adds a little extra component. So look, how pretty. Now you have a coordinating envelope. And let's go ahead and stamp something down there. I have some pretty flowers here that we could add, or we could go ahead and grab another sentiment from the stamp set. And let's see what I have in that. Guys, how does oh, here it is. I was going to be, how does somebody misplace this stamp set they're working on? So relax and enjoy. How about if we send just a note? Why don't we grab that one? Just a note, and stamp that at the base of the envelope. And who wouldn't love to receive this card in the mail? So that is, I always say it's one of my favorite things about being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator is that I do end up with quite a few cards, and it's always nice to send them out and share them. So you know, the only ink pad I didn't grab was Strawberry Slush. So hang on a second. I know we're at the end of the video. But me being the matchy-matchy person that I am, I had to grab the right ink pad. And let's see how this is stamping before I stamp on, since it is a new stamp. Oh, so pretty. All right, let's go ahead and pop this down here. Just a note. So let's look at how well this coordinates. Okay, if you joined me today, thank you so much. I always appreciate it. You could add some bling. You can do whatever you want. It's your card. But this one is busy enough for me. So take care. I will see you sometime next week. And thanks so much for popping in today.